Hello everyone, welcome to lilthings. If you're looking to making something really easy crochet winter accessory, this is a perfect project for you. Before we dive in, let's have a word from our sponsor today. Universe is a drag and drop website building app that makes your website building process so much easier. I've tried so many different website building platforms and they're all very rigid when it comes to their template. And that's exactly why I love Universe so much, is because it gives you the creative freedom. You get to customize your whole website down to each block. You can add images, looping videos, doodling, and adding buttons to redirect people to your other links, for example, your YouTube channel or your Etsy. If you're based in the US, Universe Sell and Download block allows you to sell both your digital and physical products. To make it even easier for you, I've created my own template that you can use. The first page is link in bio, and the second page could be your crochet portfolio or your crochet shop. And of course, everything can be customized to match your unique brand style. You can literally have your website up and going today, so click the link in the description box to get 25% off your first year with Universe Pro and the free version too. Now let's talk about materials. I'm using, of course, my own yarn. It's a 5-ply milk cotton yarn, which is acrylic and cotton blend, and we have a wide range of color option. We have over 60 colors. We've been building this together on my Instagram, and if you're just starting out, this yarn is perfect for you. It's gonna launch early 2025, so stay tuned and join the waitlist to be first to get notified when we launch. Since my yarn is 5-ply, I'll be using 3mm hook. You'll need darning needle, scissors, stitch marker. If you don't have stitch marker, you can use safety pins, bobby pins, and if you want to decorate your glove, you can add a little ribbon. So yeah, that's pretty much all you need. So without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. So first, we are going to start by doing a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, we're going to grab the tail of the yarn here using our right hand. And with our left hand, I'm going to point up 2 fingers like this. Then I'm going to drag the tail towards the left. Then I'm going to create a loop by twisting my fingers like this. And now you'll see that I have a loop on my both fingers on my left hand while I'm holding onto the tail using my right hand. Then I'm going to grab this tail on the right through the loop on the left. So I'm sliding my thumb into the loop and I'm just gonna grab the tail on the right and I'm gonna pull it through and then just pull everything. And there you go, here is your slip knot. Then as you can see, the loop is very big. We're gonna grab onto the knot using our left hand, and with our right hand we're gonna pull this tail to make the loop smaller. And we're gonna grab our hook, slide our hook into the loop here, and then we're gonna keep on tightening it until it perfectly wraps around our hook, just enough that our hook can slide smoothly. Now we're gonna learn how to hold our supplies. So this yarn that's connecting to the yarn ball is called our working yarn. So I like to place my working yarn on top of my 3 fingers like this. Then I'm going to go behind and under and on top, essentially just wrapping the yarn around our 3 fingers. Then we're going to go behind the index finger like this. And with our ring finger and pinky, we're gonna hold them in. It's kind of like pointing a gun now. And then with our middle finger and thumb, we're just gonna grab into our piece. And with our index finger, it's always pointed up so that the yarn can slide onto the finger like this. And the reason as to why we have to wrap the working yarn around our 3 fingers is because that creates more tension and your stitches would look cleaner, it would look more tidy. With my hook, I just like to hold it like how I'm writing. It's like this. Occasionally when there's loops on my hook, I would just use my middle finger and hold onto the loops. I'll explain more later. Now that we've learned how to hold our supplies, we're gonna slide our hook back into the loop. So with our project, we're gonna start by making a foundation chain at the bottom here. After we've made the foundation chain, we're gonna start crocheting round by round, like this, round 1, round 2, round 3, and so on. So now we're gonna make the bottom. So now let's start chaining. So first we're gonna yarn over to chain. So see this working yarn here, we're gonna bring our hook behind, over and on top of the working yarn like this. Then we're gonna pull it through the loop on our hook. Just like this. And as you can see, you'll see one chain here. As you can see, there's one V here, and that is called one chain. So now let's do it again. Yarn over, bring our hook to the back, over and on top. Once our hook has grabbed the working yarn, pull it through the loop on our hook. Like this. Now again, bring our hook to the back, over and on top of the working yarn. Once we've grabbed the yarn, we're going to pull it through the loop on our hook. Yarn over, go over and on top. Once we've grabbed onto the yarn, pull it through the loop on our hook. And again, yarn over, pull it through the loop on our hook. And as you can see, it kind of looks like braids. And this is what you want. We're going to keep making this until we have a chain long enough to wrap it around this part of our hand. So everybody's number of chain is going to be different, but don't worry, the steps to make the gloves is literally the exact same, and it doesn't matter the number of chains you have. So now let's continue making the chains. So yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook. And yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook. So it's basically pretty repetitive, so I'm just gonna go a little bit quicker. So now I have chained 40 chains in total. We're going to kind of fold it in half, and then we're gonna slide our hand into that, and then we can see that it fits. So after measuring it, we can go ahead and start round 1. And mind you that I've done 40 chains. Yours might be different depending on the size of your hand, and you don't have to worry about it. We are going to connect to the very first chain that we did to create the base for our gloves. So we're just gonna do this, and to ensure that the chain is not twisted. And then now we fold it in half. And there's 2 sides of the chains. First, it's this one. This side is very neat. There's a bunch of V's stacked on top of each other. But the back side of the chain is very bumpy. We want to look at the bumpier side of the chain. Yarning over. So yarn over first, bring our hook to the back and over and on top of the working yarn. And then we're gonna look at our chain from above here. So these 2 chains are the chain 2s to give height for the double crochet. And the chain below it is the first chain. And we're exactly gonna insert our hook right into the middle of that chain. You can see that the chain resembles a V, and our hook is gonna go directly right in the middle of the V, like this. And you're basically going under a loop. After this, we're gonna yarn over, bring a hook over and on top, then pull it through the chain, which is the first loop. So pull it through the first loop. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and we're gonna pull it through the first 2 loops on our hook. So the first loop and the second loop, like this. And now we're left with 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over again and pull it through rest of the 2 loops, just like this. Congratulations, this is your first double crochet, and I guarantee you if you can make this double crochet, you can 100% make this whole glove, because the whole glove is basically made up of double crochet. If you can make this, you can make the gloves, no worries. So now let's continue. We're basically going to place 1 double crochet on each and every chain here. So now we've made 1 double crochet on the first chain. We're going to move our finger towards the left, and here is our second chain, second V basically. Now to make the double crochet, first we do this by yarning over, then insert our hook right in the middle of the V, and you're basically going under a loop. Now we are going to yarn over again, then pull it through the chain, which is the first loop here. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, and pull it through the first 2 loops on our hook. The first loop and the second loop. Now we've got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull it through both loops on our hook. And now we're going to place our finger towards the left again to find the next chain. And now we're going to do this again. Yarn over, insert our hook right into the V, then yarn over, pull it through the loop. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops, the first loop, and then the second loop. Now I have 2 loops left on my hook, yarn over, then pull it through both loops on your hook. And now we're on the 4th stitch. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to spot where the next chain is. Essentially, it's the next V. And to make the double crochet, we first yarn over and insert our hook into the next chain, going under a loop. Then yarn over, bring our hook to the back and over and on top of the working yarn. Then pull it through the first loop. And now we have 3 loops on our hook. We yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops, the first and the second, and now we're left with 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, and pull it through both loops on our hook, just like this. And now I'll demonstrate this the last time because it's very repetitive. I'm sure you've kind of got the hang of it. First, yarn over, insert our hook right into the V, then yarn over, pull it through the V. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops, the first 2 loops. First by yarning over, insert our hook into the next chain right into the V, then yarn over again, pull it through the loop. Now we got 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops. Now we got 2 loops left on our hook, yarn over, pull it through the rest of the 2 loops. Now we've made 5 double crochet, and for the whole entire foundation chain it is the exact same thing. So now we're just going to repeat what we've done here and for the rest of the foundation chain. So it's very repetitive. If you forgot how to do it, you can rewatch these parts. It's exactly the same, and I'll meet you when I'm done. Now I am on my very last chain, as you can see here. Then we're gonna do yarn over, insert our hook into the V, just like we've done before, and yarn over, pull it through the V. We're left with 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull it through the last 2 loops. Now we're done with our first round. Congrats! You've done an amazing job, and I'm sure you'll be able to finish the whole thing. So now we've finished our first round. All we gotta do is to connect it back to the first stitch. So as you can see here, on the right hand side here, this is our chain 3. You can see there's a bunch of V here. On its left, here is our very first double crochet. Here is our first stitch. And on top, right on top of our first stitch, you'll be able to see a V here. This is the first stitch. What we're gonna do, we're gonna insert our hook under the first stitch, under the V here. After doing this, we're gonna do a slip stitch. So to do a slip stitch, yarn over, and then pull it through the stitch, the first stitch. With the loop that we pulled up on our left hand, we're gonna pull it through the right loop on our hook. You just pull it through. After pulling it through, as you can see here, you can see a tiny V here. Make sure to tighten it so that you can barely see the V. It became like a little knot here. And that is what we want, because or else we're gonna mistaken that as an extra stitch, and that would be really messy. So now we've finished our first round, we're gonna do our second round. And to do our second round, from round 1 and onwards, we're gonna basically repeat the same thing. And we're gonna start with chaining 2 to give height for the double crochet. As you can see, it's pretty tall. After we've chained 2, we're going to just do double crochet all across the round. So let me just demonstrate that. Start by chaining 2. So yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook, and then again yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook, like this. Now we're gonna do our first double crochet. So from round 2 and onwards, you can see there's a bunch of V's on top of every single stitch. And that is where we're gonna insert our hook into. So we're gonna insert right underneath the V, like this. So let me demonstrate how it works. First, we're gonna yarn over, and then we're gonna insert our hook to the first stitch, to the nearest stitch from the chain 2, which is here, this stitch right here. So insert our hook into under that V. As you can see, my hook is underneath the V. After this, we're gonna do yarn over, pull it through the stitch, and that would bring up a loop. Now we got 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over again, pull it through the first 2 loops. First loop, the second loop. Now we got 2 loops left on our hook. Yarn over and pull it through the rest of the 2 loops, like this. We've made our very first stitch. After every single stitch, we are going to insert a stitch marker to mark the first stitch. So as you can see here, if you look at your stitch from above, you can see there is a V on the very top. Well, there's also V's on the sides, but these 2 V's are chain 2, and the top one is the stitch. We're just gonna insert the stitch marker underneath the V in the first stitch here. After this, just lock it. If you don't have stitch marker, you can use bobby pins. That works as well, or safety pins. We're gonna place double crochet all across on every single stitch. So let's do it again. Yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch. As you can see, I'm just going under the V on the top. After this, yarn over, pull it through the stitch. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops, the first loop and the second loop. Now we got 2 loops left on our hook. Yarn over, pull it through both loops on our hook, like this. Now we're gonna do it again. Yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, and to see the next stitch, you can just look at your piece from above. You can see the next V. Just go under it like this. Slide your hook in under the V, then yarn over, pull it through the stitch, Then you got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops, the first loop and the second loop. Now we got 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull it through the rest of the 2 loops like this. Now let's do it again. Yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull it through the stitch. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook, and as you can see here, my middle finger are actually holding onto the loops on the hook because I feel like that's easier to manage everything. And then yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops. Then we're left with 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull it through the rest of the 2 loops, just like this. Now I'm going to demonstrate this one last time. So first we start by yarning over, insert our hook into the next stitch. You can look at the stitch from above here. Insert your hook under the first, insert your hook under the next V, and then hold on to the hook, hold on to the loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull it through the stitch. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops. Now we're left with 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull them through. So now we're basically just going to repeat this all across this round, placing 1 double crochet on top of each other. Let's say you missed 1 stitch and you want to redo them. Just take out your hook, gently pull the working yarn to unravel the stitch. Just pull it gently and slowly. Once it's unraveled, you can see that there's a loop here. Just slide your hook back into the loop and you can just keep on crocheting just like normal. So no worries if you made a wrong stitch or you missed a stitch. Just like this. So I'm just gonna finish this off and then I'll meet you when I'm done with this round. Now I'm on my last 2 stitches. After I'm done with the last stitch, I'm going to connect it back to the very first stitch, just like how we did before. So we're gonna slide our hook into the exact same space where the stitch marker is at. So like this. After this, we can take out our stitch marker. Then we're gonna do a slip stitch. So we're gonna do a yarn over first. We're gonna pull it through the first stitch, like this. Now we've pulled up a loop, and we're gonna use that loop to pull it through the loop on our hook. And after this, you can see that created a V here that looks exactly like all the stitches. That's why the step that we're gonna do, that's why tightening it is very important. We have to tighten it so that it wouldn't be mistaken as a stitch. Now as you can see, it's become a very tiny knot here. So do not miss this part. And after this, we're going to continue with what we did in round 2. We're going to start round 3 by chaining 2, just like how we did before. Yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook. Now that's chain 1. Do it again, yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook. Now that's chain 2. Now we're going to yarn over. We're going to insert our hook into the very first double crochet. So if you look at your stitch from above, you can see that here's the chain 2. Right next to it has a V, and that's where we're going to insert our hook into, like here. That's our first stitch. Then we're going to place a double crochet. Here's our first stitch, and for every first stitch, we're going to place a stitch marker to mark the first stitch of the round. So place our stitch marker on the very top of the stitch, like this. And here are the 2 stitches on the side. Lock it. Place a hook back into the loop. Now we're going to place 1 double crochet on each and every stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, basically going under the V, then place a double crochet. Here is our second stitch, and then again yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, then place another double crochet. Again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, then place another double crochet. And honestly, from round 2, which is the previous round, and onwards, it's gonna be exactly the same. See here, it's basically copy and paste each round. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna repeat this round as many as you want. It depends on the size of your hand. It also depends on how long you want the gloves to be. So it's very personal. You can do more rounds, you can do less round than me. It's completely fine. And now I'm just going to finish off this round, and I'll meet you when I finish. Now I've finished my last stitch, and as usual I'm gonna insert my hook into the very first stitch where their stitch marker is. So I'm gonna slide my hook inside, just like this. Then I'm going to take out the stitch marker. Then I'm gonna do a slip stitch. So to do a slip stitch, yarn over, pull it through the stitch. Then with the loop that we pulled up, we're gonna pull it through the right loop. Then we're gonna tighten it like this. Then we're basically going to repeat what we've done here, doing 2 chains, do the first stitch, insert the stitch marker to mark the first stitch, do double crochet all across until the end, then do a slip stitch like this. We're gonna repeat this until it gets long enough. You can just try it on. You can just try it on like this. Try it on, you can actually measure how many more rows you want, and once you've reached where you want the thumb hole to be, you can just stop at that row, and we're gonna go ahead and make the thumb hole. It's gonna go ahead and repeat what we've done in round 2 and round 3, just the exact same thing. So if you forget how to do it, you can rewatch these parts. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish a few more rows and put it on to try it on. And once I've reached where I want the thumb hole to be, I'll meet you guys there. And remember, to start each and every round, we have to start by chaining 2. So yarn over, pull through, again, yarn over, pull through. And that is the way to start a new round. Then do double crochet into the very first stitch closest to the chain 2. I just wanted to check in with you guys. This is what you should have with this. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on continuing, and you can just try it on and see where you want the hole to be. Right now I'm on round 9, and I'm just finishing off my last stitch. And then I'm just going to do a slip stitch just like normal, going into the first stitch, do a slip stitch. I'm just going to try this on, and I figured that this is the perfect length for the glove. So on the upcoming 2 rounds, we're going to make a hole here. Say I'm making it for my left hand, and I want this to be facing down like this. Then that means that my thumb hole would be on the right here. Right here. So when we crochet here, we're gonna bear in mind that here would be a hole when we reach the corner. And likewise, if you're making a glove for your right hand with this part facing down on our right hand, then that means that our thumb hole is gonna be on our left. So you have to bear in mind that if you're making a glove for your right hand, you have to crochet all across from here all around to here, then that's when you make the thumb hole. So yeah, since I'm making a glove for my left hand right now, I'll be making the thumb hole on the left here. Essentially what we're gonna do to create the thumb hole is that we're just going to skip 8 stitches. So 4 stitches on this side, 4 stitches on the other side. These stitches are the stitches that we're going to be skipping. Also, you don't really have to stress that much about the thumb hole because you can always move your glove like this. As long as you have a total of 8 stitches for your thumb hole, you'll be fine. So now let's start with making our new round. So chain 2 first as normal. We're just going to make a couple of stitches until we reach around this area. So as you can see, I've crocheted till I have 4 stitches left on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I should skip the same amount on the opposite side, and that will create a hole here. So what we're going to do to skip is that we're going to chain 2 here. Chain 1 and chain 2. Like this. Then we're going to insert our hook back into the same stitch of our last stitch here. We're just going to insert our hook right into that same stitch. Then we're going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over, and we're going to pull it through the stitch. And with the loop that we pulled up on the left, we're going to pull it through the loop on our right, like this. And what we're going to do is that we're going to tighten it very hard, like this, very tight. So we've transitioned from the top to the bottom here. We're going to skip 8 consecutive stitches. So as you can see here, this one is the following first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn your work. 5, 6, 7, 8. So these parts is where we're going to be skipping the stitches, and to skip all the stitches, we are going to do slip stitch on every stitch. So to do a slip stitch, we're going to insert our hook onto the next stitch here. Then we're going to do a yarn over, basically do a slip stitch, and pull it through the loop, pull it through the stitch, and with the loop that we pulled up, pull it through the loop on your hook, like this. But one important step is that we do not tighten it. This is not a knot, this is just to skip the stitches, so we don't have to tighten the stitches. So now we're gonna do it 7 more times to have a total of 8. So this is our second stitch that we're gonna skip. So basically going under a V just like a normal stitch, then yarn over, pull it through the stitch, and then pull it through the loop on your hook like this. As you can see, it's pretty invisible. You could barely see the slip stitches. And now we're going to continue. Insert your hook onto the third stitch. Now we're going under a V. Yarn over, pull it through the stitch. With the loop that we pulled up on the left, pull it through the loop on your right, like this. And do it again, insert your hook onto the next stitch. Yarn over, pull it through, and pull it through the loop on your hook. Like this. And now, as you can see, we've made 4 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we are going to continue making another 4. So insert your hook onto the next stitch again. Do a slip stitch, but do not tighten it. That's very important. And then again, and this is my last slip stitch. I've went from here to the opposite side. Now what we're gonna do, we're going to slip stitch 1 more stitch, but this one we have to tighten it. So one last one, and then we're gonna tighten this. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna continue doing the double crochet, but just like how we started each round, to make the double crochet we have to give height. We're gonna chain 2, so that's what we're gonna do. So make 2 chains, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Then we're gonna start making double crochet from here all the way to the end, just like normal. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch you made the chain 2. Then do a double crochet. Just make double crochet all across. This is our second double crochet. Then we're basically going to repeat what we've done before. Just 1 double crochet in each and every stitch. And now I've crocheted all across, and I'm just gonna do my last double crochet here. We're gonna join to the very first stitch. So insert your hook into the very first stitch, do a slip stitch, and tighten this. And now we are up to the next round. For the next round, we are also going to skip the previous stitches to make a hole here. Because this part of the hand is smaller than the bottom of your hand, and we're gonna make the upper part smaller than the bottom one. We're just gonna start by starting a new round. As usual, chain 2. Then we're just going to crochet 1 double crochet on each and every stitch. And your double crochet may be different, more than mine, less than mine, it's completely fine. So I had made a total of 5 double crochet at the bottom in the previous round, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm placing my 5th double crochet here, like this. After crocheting the same amount of stitches as the previous row, we're gonna go ahead and chain 5. So first chain, second chain, third, fourth, and fifth. We are going to turn our work. We're going to start crocheting on this side, the opposite side. I like to hold the loop on my hand using my middle finger to secure it so it wouldn't get in my way. So just hold it with your finger. Then I'm just gonna place my very first double crochet onto the first stitch here. So yarn over first, insert your hook into the very first stitch. Then we're gonna do a double crochet like normal. Like this. And as you can see, we have created a hole. And if you remember, we actually skipped 8 stitches at the bottom, but we only chained 5 on the top here. So that would make the top part a little bit smaller than the bottom. We're just going to crochet all across until the end. Just placing 1 double crochet at a time. This is my second double crochet. Then again. And then we're just going to crochet all across. I'm just gonna continue crocheting and I'll meet you when I'm at the end. I've just finished the round and I'm just going to connect to the very first stitch by doing a slip stitch. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and start making the top part. So we're going to start by chaining 2 like normal. First chain, second chain. We're going to do the same amount of double crochet that we did on the previous round, and I did 5, and I'm just going to do double crochet on top of the previous stitches. And I'm doing my third stitch, and I have 2 stitches left. And then the last stitch. Like this. And now you might be wondering, how are we going to crochet across this. And don't worry, it's the same thing as we did at the beginning when we had to crochet onto the foundation chain. So this is just like a foundation chain that we did in the beginning. As you can see here, it's a bunch of V's. In total, we'll have 5 V's, and in every V, we're going to place a double crochet into that. So let me just demonstrate this. So yarn over, insert your hook right into the middle of the V, here like this, and just place a double crochet like this. We're going to do this again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next V, then again here, the next one, and then we got 2 V's left, as you can see. Many rows you want to add, and you can just try on any time and stop anytime. So this is what it looks like now for me, and I probably would want to add maybe 2 more rows to cover the knuckles of my fingers, but that's just my personal choice. You can stop right here, but if you do want to add more rows, it's exactly the same as how we did on the previous rounds at the bottom here. Just chain 2, crochet all across, putting 1 double crochet on each and every stitch, then slip stitch, chain 2, and continue. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add 2 more rows to have a total of 3 rows on the top. Now I'm gonna be on my last round. I want this top part a little bit longer, so I'm just gonna make 1 more. So I've just finished my last round. I'm just going to slip stitch back into the very first stitch, just like normal. Do a slip stitch, then just tighten this, and we're going to chain 1, and that counts as a fasten off. So chain 1, pull a big loop like this, then we're gonna cut this, then tighten this tail. Then now, as you can see here, there are tails on the top and at the bottom. Then what we're going to do, we're going to hide the tails inside our piece. So we're just going to thread this through a darning needle, thread the tail, look at the inside of our piece. We're going to stake our needle into the stitches, like right into the middle of the stitches, basically going through loops, any loops that you basically can get through. And the whole purpose is just to hide the tails. So like this. Then you can check from outside that you cannot see the tail or you cannot see the needle. And that is good, so we're just gonna pull it through like this. Then we're just gonna cut it off here. Then the tail has been hidden inside the stitches and you can't see from the outside. Now we're gonna do the same for the bottom of the tail. Thread it through, then we're gonna go to the inside of the stitches. So there you go, here is your glove. If you think it's a bit plain, you can add some bows. You can use a ribbon and tie a bow and just stick it on top of your glove, and that would look really cute. But I personally like it to be plain. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, remember to subscribe, and my own yarn is launching very soon. Stay tuned and join the waitlist to be first to get notified. Comment what you want to see next, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!